Okay, so I've got some good news and some bad news. Bad news first, that BMP to byte array program that I wrote for Lab 7B and gave to you guys doesn't actually convert standard correct BMP files to byte arrays. It converts binary data files to byte arrays. So I actually figured out how to take a real BMP file, which you can save with Paint or Paint.net or your favorite drawing program. And if you save monochrome bitmap files, BMP files, you can now use this program to actually convert them to the declarations you need to stick in your Python program that allow you to take that bitmap and blast it out onto the actual physical display device. So let me show you kind of what the pieces are here. So what I have are 3 bitmap files. I made the first two, this one, which is a digit 0, this one, which is obviously digit 1, and then this one was hand-drawn by a student in Paint on Windows. It's ostensibly the number 2. And what we're going to do is we're going to convert these 3 bitmap files to byte array declarations that you can stick in your Python program. I'll show you how to do this. And what else is interesting? So this particular student that wanted me to do this wanted to have 40 by 40 pixel digits to display on his display. So all the bitmaps here that we're using are 40 by 40. Perhaps I'll have another video that shows you how to scribble a 128 by 64 pixel background that you could use to put on your display, but that'll be a separate video. So let's show you how to get these individual digit bitmaps going. So this is the program, and this program was never intended to be run in MicroPython, although that wasn't clear in Lab 7B. It was intended to be run on the PC. So when you're going to run this program in Thonny, you need to make sure that you're in Thonny's Python environment. So the way to run this program is you have to give it command line arguments, program arguments, which you can easily do in the command line in the command prompt or terminal if you're in Mac OS. But Thonny has this little trick. What you need to do is you need to turn on this, it's gone now, you need to turn on this program arguments window. So this you use to specify the options pass into the program so it knows which input file to read, which output file to generate, and then the name of the variable you want it to create for easy cutting and pasting into your Python program. So you already saw that in my file system, I have a 0.bmp file, and I want to create a output file that is called 0-rev.py, and I want to have it call the variable digit 0 underscore rev to put in the eventual Python file. Now, the reason why I'm specifying reverse here is that whether you think about it or realize it or not, typically when you're in a drawing program, it gives you a white background slate to draw on. So you're actually drawing black on white. So when you make a bitmap out of that, you get a black on white bitmap. And if your display wants to be a black background, that ugly character that you're going to have with a white background is going to look weird. And we'll actually show you an example of that probably later on in this video. But you typically want white on black. That's not always the case, but most of the time you want white on black. So reverse means take the black on white bitmap that you have and reverse all the bits so that the output is white on black instead. So I'll generate bitmap files for both forward and reverse and show you what, I don't know if I have images of ones that are the wrong video orientation, but you can imagine what they look like. So to run this program, I have a 0.bmp and I want to generate the reverse version of these. And I'm being very deliberate about what I'm naming these files to be able to keep everything straight, because eventually we're going to end up with a bunch of files to play with here. So the way to run this program is you enter these command line arguments and then you just hit run. And let's go over and look in my directory. And now I have this 0-rev.py. So if we were to load this into Thonny, Why don't we just go ahead and do that now? Let's see what this looks like. So it's a byte array. I used to generate this as one big long line. For debugging, I changed it to multi-lines. I don't technically need to do that anymore, but I'm going to leave it this way for the time being. So not only does it create the bitmap variable for you, which is the string of bytes that are actually the contents of the bitmap, it also gives you the frame buffer declaration, which is just one fewer thing that you have to do when you cut and paste it into your program. So I'm also going to make available this template demo file. Let's go ahead and load that in. So it's called one bitmap template, and it just generates the code for putting one bitmap on the display. And it's the template because it has a place in here, which is where you stick this file contents. So let's take this, Control A, Control C, and let's copy it into the template file. And let's put it there. And then it creates this framebuffer variable here, which is already an instance of framebuf.FrameBuffer. And you're going to put that down here because that's actually what's going to go out on the display. So I can now, I would prefer to do this as a save as, because I want to collaborate my template file. So let's call this digit 0 pi. And let's save this. And then we're going to run this in MicroPython because we want to run this on the Pico to put the bitmap on the display. So we switch to MicroPython mode. We go over here and we run it. And you can't actually see it, but I have an image already of what this looks like on the display. And it looks like this. So this is white on black. This is the reverse of the blackness, whiteness that you generated in your paint program, and it put it on display. So that actually shows that it's working. So let's also generate the bitmap for our one bitmap. So we need to change this to 1 as the input. The output file is 1rev, and I want it to create a variable called digit1rev. And I need to switch back to Python mode. I need to switch back over to the program to run, and I need to say run it. Created the, oops, nope, I was right the first time. It created the onerev.py file. And you know what, since we're here, let's just generate the 2-bitmap file. Now I'm going to generate both forward and reverse. So run it. Then I'm going to turn off the reverse flag, which is the -r. I'm going to change my output file name appropriately, my variable appropriately. I'm going to generate that other file. There we go. So now I should have a forward and reverse version of the 2-bitmap for inclusion in the template file. So let's just copy the template file and let's call this digit1.py. Let's make another copy, call it digit2.py, and you're not going to be able to see it displayed because I don't have a picture of it, but let's call this digit2 forward.py, which is the not reverse video version of the bitmap on the display. Okay, so now we've got all these template files copied, and we're going to take the output of the bitmap utility, and we're going to assemble them. So let's take digit1.py. Let's take the output that contains the 1 character, Control A, Control C, go over into here, put it in the place we've allocated for it. Take the variable name, put it in the program, and just save it for the time being. And we're going to do the same thing with our 2-bitmap files. Digit2, We're going to take the to rev. I'm going to take this file's contents, put it over here, do the same thing. Da, da, da. Oops, missed it. And then I also have a forward version. Control O, to forward, 2pi, Control A, Control C. Control main, that, put it there. Okay, so now we have, get rid of this, we have lots of MicroPython programs here now to run. I shouldn't have closed it, should have left it around. So this is what the digit 1 program looks like. And you've already seen the digit 0. So if I run this, it's not that interesting. I've seen this once already. I have to change back to MicroPython mode. Darn it. Come on. Come on. That's good. We're just getting worse here. Come on. Go away, menu bar. Start bar. Okay, MicroPython. So we run this in MicroPython. And the output looks like this. Now I'm going to show you what the reverse video, in fact, let's show you this. So this is the output of running the forward video copy of the 2 bitmap that was hand generated in Paint. So this is what black on white looks like. This may or may not be your aesthetic. If it is, then you just need to generate the right forward reverse version of the bitmap. Or if this is more your aesthetic, generate the reverse video of the output from the bitmap program. You could also generate the bitmap on a black background inside of Paint using white paint and then save the monochrome bitmap out that way too. So whichever way, it's just normal for the program to assume you want a white palette to draw on. So anyways, that basically shows you what all the outputs are. That once you generate the Python program and run the MicroPython program and run it on your display, it also shows you how to use this new improved BMP to bytearray tool. So I am going to probably put this in an announcement on Canvas, and I'm going to have this program replaced in Canvas in the Files section so that you can now download this one, which actually works. And I hope this helps out. If you have any questions, send me email at here's my email address right here. So 13-minute video, hope that helps.